I don't have like.
Hello and good evening out there in the world. My name is Max Walk. This is my best friend Kevin Corcoran, and this is Binge Brothers Live. We're here coming to you on this great Thursday evening to talk about a new Netflix film, the biggest show in the world, WandaVision. Kevin, how are you doing, my friend?
God, I'm trying to do this YouTube and I'm trying to do your thing right now. It's so impossible. Oh, I'm doing well. We're live. This is Dirty Kev.
We are live. Check it out.
We are live.
I am sending the link to you right now, Kevin. But either way, welcome, one and all. We are getting more used to the StreamYard app that we are using. So if you are commenting, we can show the comments on the show. So feel free to ask us questions. We'll pull them up and you can give your opinions of what we're talking about. So, Kevin, how is your week going?
Going well. I just got back from Florida. I just tweeted this out, so I know the people are just going to be inbounding like crazy right now. They're gonna be flocking in. It's gonna be unreal. I don't know if we're gonna have the bandwidth, Max. I love it though. You and I.
Dream Marriage is gonna crash.
Yeah, it's all gonna crash. It's all gonna come down, baby. But yeah, no, it was a good week. Being back in Florida, it was great. I rewatched WandaVision. It seems like for like the 8th time, God dang, that show
Lindsay
just
Moore.
Oh, Lindsay
Number one
Moore.
fan.
Effing go. Yeah, she's hot.
That's our number one patron. Fantastic person. So thank you for showing your support, Lindsay. Yeah, your trip looked fantastic. You and Lynn's out there doing a little canoeing, right? I mean, that stuff looked like it was pretty fun.
Yeah, a little kayak. She got mad that I posted a photo of her in the kayak, not posed. She hates when I do that, so I gotta be better at that. But that's okay. I'm learning. I'm becoming an Instagram boyfriend, which I like doing. And she's becoming a YouTube girlfriend for me. So that's all I could ever ask. Patreon girlfriend, maybe.
It's it all balances out. So, Kevin, the title says that we're here to talk about a few different things. Specifically, we're going to start off with a new movie on Netflix. They release about one movie every week, but the newest movie to release on Netflix this last Friday was called I Care a Lot, starring Rosamund Pike and Peter Dinklage from Gone Girl and Game of Thrones fame, respectively. This is a thriller about some pretty despicable people, even on both sides. Really interesting, kind of showing a different side of the world, really, on this caregiver type of business that Rosamund Pike runs, and taking a guardianship over somebody that she's not supposed to, in the ways that will ravel down and create chaos. So, Kevin, what are your kind of initial thoughts? Did you like it, love it, or did you hate it?
So I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I watched it with the family, and they're a really cool family. So it's not one of those things where you're watching a movie and if something bad happens or something kind of scandalous happens, you're kind of like, ooh, that's awkward. I would say this: out of everyone, so it was about 5 of us total. I was probably the one who I bet I liked it the least out of all of them. I thought it was a fine movie. It was good. It was a good 2 hours. Rosamund Pike, I think I think maybe what bothered me is I have, besides Gone Girl, I'm not really, I guess, enamored by Rosamund Pike. I thought she was pretty good at acting. I think one thing that held me back was maybe the writing of some sort. And I don't know. I thought it was a fine movie. I think it was just something where it's like, who do I like? Which one? What side am I on? I remember at the beginning of it, I liked Peter Dinklage, and I was like, oh, I'm on the side of Peter Dinklage. But then all of a sudden, you see Peter Dinklage and everything he was a part of, and how, it seemed like he wasn't exactly the best person to be, to follow as well. So then I was kind of conflicted, maybe. It was just a different. You could tell this was a unique. This was like a director. Was the director himself? Was he kind of a newer director?
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now, And that is the interesting thing. Rosamund Pike recently hasn't been in a whole lot of movies. She's done some TV shows, two movies that were not huge in 2019: The Informer and Radioactive, A Private War in 2018. So she hasn't been a lot of high profile stuff. So I understand why you aren't, you probably don't have like super movie star thoughts about her. But I've always thought she was a great actress. Going back to seeing her in Gone Girl and then in Jack Reacher as well.
Yeah,
And
good point.
there's a small movie I thought she was really good in. It's called Beirut and Hostels. Those two movies. Those are like smaller releases, and neither movies are like amazing, but she really stood out to me in those. So, as for me, I liked it more than you. I don't love this movie. It's not my favorite movie of the year, but it was a whole lot of fun, and it's a great Netflix movie. That's it's the perfect movie for Netflix because it's easily watchable. It's really fun. I think that I agree with you. The struggles are the kind of tonal issues with the movie where there's not a lot of the protagonist, Rosamund Pike, is kind of an evil person. So it's kind of hard to get behind her back to really see where this is all going. It's hard for her to be the one to cheer on because you see her doing kind of really terrible things to these people that she's taking guardianship of. So, that's where I kind of issue. But once I kind of realized that tone and that it's really just showing these kind of terrible people doing terrible things to each other, I kind of got more sucked into it and really enjoyed where the story took me, even though it has kind of that imbalance of who I'm cheering for, I guess. So I thought her and Dinklage were great in the film. Both.
I think it was just like the characteristics. I think it was something like Dinklage, like the fact that when he was hanging from the trapeze or whatever the heck, the rings, like just hanging there. I'm like, oh, he's that kind of a gangster. Oh, okay, that's an interesting take there. I
like that. I thought it was kind of cool.
And I thought it was interesting also that we saw Rosamund Pike, smoking the
e-cig.
The e-cig of that thing, man.
21st century cig, yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay's thoughts. Ooh, this movie was so interesting. I love to hate characters like that. Yeah, okay, exactly. Yeah. That was part of the fun. I mean, like you're really like hoping kind of that these characters are gonna get their comeuppance and have shitty things done to them. So,
who's your favorite character? Would you say?
I think I had the most fun with Rosamund Pike's character, but I thought Dinklage was also great. I mean, it was just kind of different. He didn't have as much people to bounce off of. I thought she was great with like the caretaker of not the caretaker, but the person who ran the old folks home. That was a really fun, like seeing how she uses them or how she uses these doctors to get what she wants.
It's an interesting topic. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Lindsay, she just put in a comment of her favorite thing, which is vape.
Vape, all right.
Put that vape away.
A vape, yeah.
We quit, Lindsay. Come on.
Yeah, get out of here.
Just playing around. So,
but I also like the lawyer itself too. I thought the lawyer was a good character.
This is a great point. Great point by Lindsay. Diane Wiest as the mother, so to speak, or the main guardian or person that's taking the guardianship of Rosamund Pike was great. She was super fun, and kind of seeing what kind of person she is as revealed more and more was really, really fun.
Yeah, no, I'd agree too. Yeah, I honestly, it was an entertaining movie. I will say that. I think maybe I was like, I just remember the beginning of it all. I'm like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? I had no idea what was going to happen. And I thought it just, to me, you know what, honestly, it was a good movie. I don't want to add too much more to it. I guess, honestly, I know it's a review on it. I just remember thinking, maybe I'm so used to, how movies kind of go with the ebbs and flows of things. And the ending, I don't think I ever expected to happen. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I thought the ending was great. I agree.
I did not expect, a lot of the things to happen. So, you know what? Hell yeah. I'll give that kudos to that. Because a lot of the last 30 minutes, I did not predict what happened at all. It's one of those things. So, yeah, I feel like Lindsay would do a better job of this than me, kind of giving her insight and thoughts to it. But yeah, I'd say it's a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah. You always just give me because you don't rate it A plus to F like I do. I hate that you always do it out of 10, and this podcast rates A plus to F. So readjust it, Kevin. What is on the A to F scale?
So C. C,
A
yeah.
C? This is a
Which
B
is
plus
good.
for me.
It's
A
good.
A C plus is the cutoff for good versus
Okay,
bad.
C plus. I'd give it a C plus, and then but here's the thing: if you ask anyone, like we asked my buddy when we were playing Call of Duty earlier, what movie should we talk? He pointed out we need to talk about this movie.
Yeah, he said you guys should watch this movie. Yeah.
Our other co-host Alex Dean, who is unfortunately being caught under the corporate foot of society, working at this moment right now, so he couldn't join us. He also was like, that's a great movie. We need to talk about it. So I think he would have given a better take than me for this movie. I'll even text him too, just to see if he has any quick thoughts on it.
Yeah, this is easily a B plus for me, which is, it's kind of in that range where I just had a great time with it, but it didn't reach that, next level of thematically or, cinematography or everything like that. Didn't quite reach that level. I was just going to kind of get to this point. Lindsay might as well be a guest on the show, asking for her invite. I agree. Kevin just admitted that you'd probably be better at giving your insight into these shows and movies. So,
this movie.
Oh, just this movie? Okay. Well, I was just saying maybe that I might have to really consider a new host here with Lindsay, who is obviously showing to be
really
very smart with her opinions. So. All right, Kevin, let's get into the meat and bones of the show, what we really are itching to talk about, which is the number one show right now in the world, WandaVision, part of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's streaming every Friday on Disney+. We issued episode 7 last week. Tonight at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time, we're getting episode 8. I'm staying up. Kevin's staying up with me. And boy, is this show so much fun, Kevin. We've already talked about it on our last show. I think we were 4 or 5 episodes in. We've had 2 or 3 more episodes since then. So sorry if the timing's a little bit weird on when that happened. We're going to go into spoilers, I believe, here on WandaVision. That's correct, Kevin?
Yes. I think we would have to go into it. And I think do you remember what the last one we did? Was that the one before before the 6th and 7th?
So I think it was after episode 4, which is the episode where you see all of everything with Sword coming in and what happened on that side of things and figuring out what's happening in the Hex. And we talked about the possibility of Evan Peters showing up, which happened in episode 5.
You're right. Good point. So, we could just go into the fact that, yes, that's the big thing is that we finally saw a little bit of conflict between them, and Evan Peters is here, and he's live in the WandaVision.
He is live, and that's the thing. We still don't know if he is, a different dimension.
So that's episode 5, isn't it? That's technically episode 5.
That was episode 5. Episode 6 was Halloween, Malcolm in the Middle.
Yep.
Episode 7 was Modern Family with Agatha All Along, maybe the greatest song in the history of the 2021 year.
It was Agatha. It was Agatha.
Pity, 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 pity. All right.
I love it. All the memes that are coming from her. And
there's so much to really break down, Kevin, that it's almost hard to even imagine where we want to start. But I just kind of want to talk about first something that I've been seeing. People that are saying they're not, happy with not where the show's going, but not happy that some of the things that are happening they could have guessed or that have been highly speculated, such as Catherine Hahn's Agnes being Agatha Harkness, the witch. And I think this is really, really not a great criticism of a show, being that if you call something you're not surprised by it, like what you should be doing is like just taking the show for what it is, what that story is, not taking kind of what your expectations are, that it has to surprise you. But I'm loving this. Catherine Hahn is just blowing it away for me. She's so charismatic and so much fun in this role. And I think we're about to really see her get unleashed even more so than she has been. So I'm really excited. So on that aspect, how did that reveal of her as Agatha Harkness pay off for you?
I think it's one of those things where I think we all here's the thing. I think we all knew that she was going to be, Agatha, correct? Agatha
Harkness, yeah.
So I think we all knew how I was going to do it. I think they did such a fantastic job, though, of the fact that they, I think it's interesting to point out that, like, every episode, the fact that it's like the style of, it's not like it's different. It's not like how it has been with every Marvel film. It's,
Yeah.
We were watching literally the last episode was her kind of, coping with the fact that, she extended, what is it, Westview, and kind of, when
she sent out more miles and,
yep. And it was like a hangover episode of her kind of realizing that again, you saw more of, kind of like the errors, the conflicts, kind of her being like, what's going on? Like, why can't, every time I look at that staircase, it seems to be flipping. What are all these glitches in the system? Is this my thoughts, or is this somebody maybe possibly, causing this? And you know what? I think at the end of the day, I think anyone could have seen that Agatha was going to be the person that was bad. I thought they did a fantastic job of presenting it. I mean, honestly, I thought
the creepy vibes of her going downstairs. The whole episode. I mean, she comes over. She offers to take the children. Oh, because it's not sketchy when a lady takes her children to her house. There's number one, the first strike that people, what's going on, and then just the whole presentation when she when the kids are talking to her, and I think it was Wiccan, or I don't know if it was Billy or Tommy, but the guy that turns into Wiccan, he says you have nothing inside you, like, because he's got the same powers kind of as Wanda, at least of telekinetics or something like that. And it's just like a creepy vibe. And then getting into her basement, seeing her lair, so to speak, is just was super, super fun. I mean, going down there, it's creepy. It's a really, really cool set design. And then having her show up, doing the reveal, and then going right into the song Agatha All Along, which I'm obsessed with. I listen to it like 5 times a day. That just whole thing is fantastic. All the memes on Twitter of people dancing to it. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So,
I think also, dude, it's also not done in normal Marvel fashion.
Yes,
this is the fact
best part of the show. Yeah,
I'm watching it and I'm thinking I'm watching Modern Family, and it's such a fun take in the way that it's like that. Like,
exactly.
Lindsay's family. So my girlfriend's Lindsay's family, not the Lindsay that keeps commenting. It's another woman. Her family loves it. Like, the mom, who is somebody who's not into superhero movies at all. The dad is somebody who, it took him a little bit to kind of get into it, because the show at first, how the first couple episodes are. Yeah, it's kind of those things where it's like, what is this? Is this really a Marvel movie, or is this exactly? And the mom is like, I love this. Like, this is awesome. And she is someone who's like, if I'm watching a superhero movie, it's all kind of just like silly to me. And I think she watches it and she's fully entertained the entire time. She's someone who loves Modern Family. And when you're watching this, you almost forget that it's WandaVision. I love the fact that it's got that tongue-in-cheek comedy, with Vision talking on the side of the clown, or whatever, the circus circus RV. Yeah. I love when they do shots like that. I love that fact. I love the fact that he just realizes, you know what? Why am I sitting here? I got to go fix this.
Yeah, the talking head segments were hilarious, of doing the interviews a la Modern Family or The Office or Parks and Rec.
I mean, this show is the most creative. It's the most creative show I've ever one of the most creative shows I've ever seen.
100%.
I think that's something you can agree with.
I think that's the layers of it is what's so great, because you get this, the progression of sitcoms by the decade, these family sitcoms of the Dick Van Dyke Show, I Love Lucy, getting into the 70s shows and the 80s shows, Full House, and then Malcolm in the Middle, and then into Modern Family. You're getting that, which brings up a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people, which brings that's the fun of it for a lot of people. Where, excuse me.
Yeah.
You also
we understand. Yeah.
Sorry, my acid reflux. And then you also get the side of it where it brings in from the classic MCU, the Sword, where it's investigating this, figuring out what's going on. It has the questions brought up, so it's the mysteries that are involved, which are so enticing. And then also on top of all of that is the central story of grief and loss, and dealing with that loss that Wanda is going through. That's what this is all built on, where she created this hex, this world, so that she could continue to have her love with Vision, and have her children. And it's building up to this crescendo where we're going to get to a point where I'm not sure if she's going to be able to keep that. She's probably going to have to lose Vision a third time now, which is heartbreaking, and it's really heavy. It's got this heavy undertone to everything with, she's just concealing it. And then you also have this great character of Monica Rambeau being basically introduced as an adult who's so compelling, is the real hero of the story. Because Wanda, as much as we love her from what she's been in the show, in the movies going before this, we love her in this show because she's so much fun as this mom character, but she's doing some, sketchy stuff. She's, mind controlling thousands of people, and we care for her because we love the character, but we have to realize, like, the hero of the show is easily Monica Rambeau, and Vision, I think, as well. But Vision is kind of not even really Vision. That's also what's interesting. It's just, it all builds. There's just so much to this show, and that's what it gets people talking. People are theorizing. My favorite YouTuber, they're all doing shows on this. My favorite YouTuber is doing these after shows that are getting 8 hours worth of questions sent in. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, that's what it's just so easy to talk about and to theorize on a week-to-week basis, and it's a knockout of the park. It's a home run for Marvel, and I really hope it really comes together in the end beautifully over the next 2 weeks.
And I feel like it's also something that I think this. Now, of course, it could never be shown in theaters. I understand that, but I think this has this appeals to a wider audience. Than any other show movie that Marvel's ever put out there. This is no longer, the old days of watching Captain America and the good guy wins. Oh, the easy.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Ooh, that's very true. I know it is so true.
Yeah, it's a very sad story. That's the tragedy of it. And to take a line from John Campea, he really wants to go down and end in a Shakespearean tragedy. He said that a lot of times, and I think that's really where we're heading.
He's hoping for everything to go off the rails.
Yeah, he doesn't want this to be a superhero like ending where they all come together to defeat the villains. He wants it all to come crashing.
Which is every Marvel movie, and ever since we saw with that's one thing I used to get kind of bored with Marvel movies, is the fact that, of course, the superhero always wins. But we know when we first saw that in the Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame, I love that they're still kind of going with that. I mean, I love the fact that this isn't a restart for Stage 4 of Marvel. Or sorry, this isn't like just going with the norm of going back to what the true and
it's
making
showing,
money.
Yeah,
they're taking huge risks. The fact that this kids are going to be unhappy with this. That their favorite their favorite character is Wanda. No, it's better for story. It's better for the future, I'd say, of this, and it's going to be sad right now, but I think this is going to be something that we don't really know necessarily yet, but I think this is going to be this is exactly the introduction that Marvel needed to kind of set the tone of what the rest of this is going to be. This is no longer going to be something where it's just superhero wins, we're going to get the, it's going to be more risk-taking, and you notice that. Yeah, and I think the movies are going to see this show, and I think every movie going forward is going to be like, we can create a story however we want. We don't have to follow A, B, C, D. We can make a story that is true to ourselves and essentially however we want to be. And I love that this is the beginning of it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And I think that's what they're going to have to balance, because they're going to have their classic type shows. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I expect to be a classic MCU story where we're getting a lot of action, a lot of heroes versus villains, and coming to a happy ending.
At the same time, it is the post-death, post-ending of Captain America. So that is something that does add something kind of different, and they can do something different with that as well. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. But I just think the weird things that they're doing with WandaVision, the multiverse stuff, you're going to see that coming through in a lot of different projects, such as Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man No Way Home, which has a title now.
Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. Eternals. Eternals.
Eternals is going to be interesting. Loki is going to have a very different twist on it. And then you're bringing in shows like, She-Hulk, which is a lawyer comedy, a half-hour lawyer comedy, I think I've heard, or Moon Knight, which is very, very interesting source material. Obviously, Miss Marvel has a teen superhero. So
I mean, even what we know is going to come through the next Marvel.
I'm just saying that they're just building to a point where we can expect a lot of different types of stories, where we can still have maybe classic MCU hero villain and coming to a good ending, like in Black Widow possibly, or in Falcon Winter Soldier, and movies like that, we can still get weird as they kind of started with in Thor Ragnarok and the Guardians movies. They're expanding into like even different types of storytelling. So I think that's how the MCU can stay on their feet and stay on top of the game after taking a year off, basically because of the pandemic.
I mean, if I had to make a prediction right now, I think there will be a movie made by Disney under the Marvel title that will be nominated for an Oscar at one point because you're getting directed.
Well,
I mean, the person directing the Eternals
Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture, so they've already had done that.
Okay, but like a real chance at winning.
Okay, that's.
I
fair.
almost feel like that was, and this is not controversial of me saying. I almost feel like they were just doing that to be. I think it was just because if they didn't do that, people would be freaking out.
I think that movie really did work for a lot of people, and it truly was one of the best movies that year for a lot of people. It's a lot of people's favorite Marvel movies.
I rewatched it. I like it a lot better the second time.
I love that movie. Truthfully, I do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have nominated for Best Picture that year, but I don't take that away from people. I think that it truly was loved.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So I think that's where it just comes from. I think that, for us, I really love that story, but it also doesn't have that connect. I can't appreciate it as much as as a person of color can that hasn't had these stories before. I love it as a story, and I think it's beautifully made and everything like that. But it really is more personal to them. So that's what's great. They can make movies like that for everybody, and they can make Captain Marvel, which isn't one of my favorites, but my sisters and my mom loved it, and they loved seeing a woman hero on screen, Brie Larson. I think Brie Larson's fantastic. So. That's right.
What I mean by that is I want to see Black Panther 2 being something that maybe is more what we're traditionally used to seeing and more of a risk when it comes to not following the process that most Marvel movies follow. That's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they're definitely going to be taking way more risks because they know they have their audience, so they can do different types of storytelling. I think that's why they have that trust in the audience now. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that. I just think that they still have some of that classic MCU type stuff, not classic as in the same old, as in just like similar except with different layers, like Black Widow or like Falcon Winter Soldier. But then they can do different things like the What If animated show. I mean, that's just taking like completely different what if situations, such as if T'Challa was Star-Lord. I mean, that's where it can get interesting. I'm saying that as in, I'm just saying they can balance a lot of different types of things going forward, which is great. I mean, frick, we're getting Blade, we're getting Vampire Hunter Blade, which is going to be awesome. I need to go back and watch the original Blade films. I've never seen them, but
we're getting a Disney rated R film in Deadpool 3.
Yeah, we're getting Deadpool 3. I still am not sure. I think they'll still have that released under Fox, I think they'll have 20th Century Pictures Studios release that officially. I don't think they're going to put that in the MCU. I think it'll be in the MCU, but I think they're going to really make sure they're not targeting the same MCU audience because they have that trust with families and they can't lose that. So that's what I'm really interested to see what they do with their
I want them to put it under Disney. Screw it. Put it as
of course
rated R,
you do. You're 26-year-old white male. I mean, if look at like parents of like 10-year-old kids who love these movies that aren't ready for their children to see Deadpool, they can't just market it like a regular MCU movie. And
the kids can't go. It's rated R.
I know, but that's where the problem. Well, of course, kids can go.
That's what I mean when they're going to take risks. I want them to take a risk like that.
Well, I just don't believe that they'll release under Disney. I think, or Marvel Studios. It will be under 20th Century.
It'd be disappointing, but I'd be fine with it. It'd be fine.
It can still say it's in the MCU.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man movies are in the MCU, but they're released by Sony.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Okay, that makes sense.
So, hey, and I could be wrong. They could do it under Marvel Studios without 20th Century. I mean, who knows? But, yeah. So, yeah. Kev, there was some fun kind of to be had this year on this week on social media by Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon, I think is his name, stars of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 Phone Home.
Yeah, with some fake names for the third Spider-Man film. Yeah. Phone Home was one of them. No, what was some of the fake names? Phone Home was the main one that I remembered.
This
But
Phone Home, Homewrecker.
Homewrecker, yeah. So all these fake movie titles with home in it, and they finally released a short kind of backstage promo where they're not backstage, but behind the scenes, where they're walking through, their studios where they work, and they show the new title officially is Spider-Man No Way Home. This is really interesting. We know that Doctor Strange is going to be in here, and there's a lot of things. We know that some old Spider-Man villain from different universes are going to be coming in here with Doc Ock, and Electro, Jamie Foxx's Electro. No Way Home is a really interesting title. It makes me almost think that it's possible that we could get a Spider-Man sent into different universes, that they can't get back to their home, their home multiverse or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of things you can really speculate here. What if they have to go from this universe to that universe to fight Doc Ock in one place with Tobey Maguire, and then they have to go and fight Electro with what's his name, Andrew Garfield, and then maybe what if they get sent to an animated universe and they fight with Miles Morales against? I mean, they can do really crazy things with this movie, especially with that partnership with Sony. So. And this could also just be a situation where they're, they are locked in a cage for 2 hours and they can't get out and they can't get home. I mean, obviously, I don't think that will be it actually, but there's a lot of fun things to speculate with the title. What are your thoughts on the title overall? And continue with the home theme for these titles.
Well, once again, this comes with the creativity that WandaVision is starting with this new generation of Marvel films. The fact that you essentially. The idea that we could see all the three Spider-Mans and do a story somehow come together is just, and also Miles Morales too. It's just unreal to me, just because this is something you only would see on Reddit back in the day. This is something that nobody would be able to take such a risk on. I love the risk taking. I love the fact that this is something that's going to be, again, it's tongue in cheek. Is the fact that we're going to be breaking fourth walls and every single wall in between. Possibly seeing Andrew Garfield, seeing Tobey Maguire out there. I mean. It's something that I think this movie is going to be huge the weekend it comes out, and once everyone finds out that there's all the kind of hype from Twitter and everything, it's just going to become huge. And I think this is one of those movies that's going to be one of the biggest. I think it's going to be the biggest of all three of them. I also think this is interesting that it is Tom Holland's last film as it's on his contract currently with Marvel as Spider-Man. So
I don't know if I 100% buy that.
What do you mean? He's already said that he would love to sign with them, but
he said he'd make him 2 years old. Yeah, I don't know. There's just
this is just for right now. I mean, Thor re-signed. Thor, we all thought Thor, and then Captain America re-signed as well recently.
Yeah, exactly. And Tony Stark, obviously at one point people thought he was done. His contract was up, and then he signed another lucrative one to finish off through Endgame. So yeah, you're right. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think there's no way I'd be really surprised if he's done after the Spider-Man movie. I think that they'll bring him back, but
same. I
could also see them bring him back outside the MCU just with Sony with their Venom movies and everything like that. I could also see that possibly be a situation.
I agree with you, man. Yeah, I mean, they finally nailed it by having someone who was young and somebody who can. I think they signed him with the intention of, okay, we're going to give him this contract, see how it goes. We've clearly seen success. It seems like he likes working with Marvel. I think he's going to he's going to be the Spider-Man for the foreseeable future. I at least predict.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, it's exciting. I'm really excited for this. I was not necessarily as excited for the second one until I heard that Jake Gyllenhaal was attached to it. Then I was like, okay, I can't believe the fact that they got Jake Gyllenhaal there. And just, right now, Marvel has me more excited than ever. I don't know what's going to happen right now. I mean, bring it back to, we could bring it back to WandaVision. The fact that X-Men potentially could come in. The fact that Evan Peters from X-Men as Quicksilver is here. Okay, it might be, we don't know yet.
Confirmed. That's not confirmed.
But that's the point, Max. That's the point.
It's true.
This might be the introduction to somehow bringing in the X-Men. We don't know yet. Some people are even saying that this could be the introduction, and we're now hearing rumors on Twitter that that oh my god, what's her name? Emma Stone is potentially going to be Emma Stone, right? Am I correct with that? Going to be in the Fantastic Four, or am I thinking of a different
The
one?
rumor was Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer
Rumor is
Lawrence.
false.
Jennifer Lawrence.
That rumor is completely false. But I mean,
Is
she's
it?
she's a great actress. Yeah, that is. Yeah. The rumor was that she's flying to Australia to start shooting the Fantastic Four movie, and that's just not true. They haven't even written that movie yet, and the director of it is still directing Spider-Man 3. But she's a good actress. I think she would play the role well. I'd be interested to see where they go with the casting of that.
All I'm saying is, Max, did you think that Evan Peters was going to show up as Quicksilver?
I didn't think so prior to the show. No, of course not.
And you're more of a logical thinker than I am. I'm more of a...
Well, I also, I thought there was some possibilities of things that could be wacky because, just with the where the character of Wanda comes from, what her powers are, how she can do different things. Now, we didn't touch on this, Kevin, but the last commercial was Nexus, and the Nexus is like basically in the comics the Nexus of all realities, meaning they could go into any reality of anything and bring in anyone. They could bring in Batman or Luke Skywalker, which I don't think they will, but that's just the kind of things they can do with storylines like this. So, who knows what could happen? We could see Charles Xavier. Who knows?
I just think when you watch this show, you can see that clearly Marvel is no longer playing it safe. It's no longer about, they know that they're going to get their money. They're going to get the audience. They can now be more creative. They can take more risks than ever.
Yeah.
I hope they keep doing that.
I think you're absolutely right. So, with all that being said, I think this is probably a great place to end the 10th episode of the Binge Brothers. Kevin, we've made it through.
I'd say we could jump into one more thing. I mean, Justice League just released a trailer.
Oh, it was last week, but Justice League did release a trailer. Why don't you take over for that one a little bit? You are more excited for that than me.
I am very excited for Justice League. And Variety actually just released kind of a behind the scenes of how this was created. I don't know. Did you read that? They had an interview with Zack Snyder. Vanity Fair.
I didn't read it yet. I'm going to. I really was interested, but I kind of was feeling under the weather this last week, so I just never got around to it. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think it was a great. It's a 1 minute or is a 2-minute trailer. Full color, so Max, you don't have to worry. No more worrying or shaking in your boots. There, it's gonna be a movie.
Now I'm worried about the aspect
ratio. The 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah, now I'm worried about that.
Yeah, which is fine. Do your thing.
I just think it's taken away. There's no. I don't think there's any artistic choice that would make that better. I want to see more screen. That's it. I want to see all of it. I don't think making it a 4:3 does anything artistically to tell a better story.
Apparently, it's for IMAX. From what I've read during the Vanity Fair article, is that he did it because they want it to be released in IMAX down the line. And I guess that's better for IMAX, I guess. I don't know how. I don't know why. I'm not into that. Me and Max are trying to look into getting into more films somehow, somewhere. But, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that, from what we know, is that I think this is going to be – I think if we all can agree, this is going to be the movie that Zack Snyder intended, and I don't even think this is the movie he intended originally. I think this is the movie that he's decided. I don't care what Warner Brothers says.
Exactly, he's just making the movie he can.
I don't care what the critics say. This is going to be my 4-hour theatrical, just mayhem, amazing. He's not pulling anything at this point, and I love that. I think he's going to go kind of deep into it now. The trailer itself didn't show a lot of new things. It's just the fact that it showed it's going to be very different than the one we saw theatrically. I think I'm extremely excited for it. I still wish that it was going to be 4 1-hour episodes, but whatever. I'll take the 4-hour movie itself. I love also the fact that, the ending of it is going to have the hallelujah to end it too, which is, again, nothing like you would have expected from, Warner Brothers film. But I love the fact that he's just going to go with what he wants. I mean, we look at the photos. We've seen the Joker. New photos of the Joker were released. Him looking in the kind of Jesus pose, kind of like the Jesus form, in which
and it's like, okay, the number of degenerates they're going to get a tattoo of Jesus Joker is just going to be way too many than the world needs.
Yeah. I'm excited. I don't think and they also promised that the end of the movie is going to have a character from the DC universe that is going to blow everyone's mind, which, I mean, Max, did you read that? Did you hear that as well?
I saw that quote. So I don't know what it's gonna be, but
and Ryan Reynolds has responded saying he will not be bringing it out of the closet or the computer. I think he will. I think he will be in it somehow. I think it'll be kind of a fun thing. I think so. I think he's gonna be the first vote.
No, I'll freaking chuck my headphones down if that terrible Green Lantern's in it. Okay, this trailer was fine. It was really good. I'm excited for this. We've talked about this many times. I'm excited to see what it all is. In the end, though, it's 4 hours. Do I think I'm going to love this movie beyond everything? I'm going to love it? Absolutely not. I'd be super surprised if I love this movie. I mean, it's going to be 4 hours long. He's not going to be cutting things that would normally be cut to create a regular, theatrical experience, even though however long it might.
But I don't think we can go into this movie with a theatrical experience knowing that it's going to be 4 hours. What movie have you ever seen that's 4 hours?
Gone with the Wind.
No, it's 3 hours, and also Lord of the Rings.
Gone with the Wind is definitely 4 hours long.
Is it? Sorry, everybody. Ba-doop-boop-doo.
3 hours and 58 minutes. Wow.
Oh, it's under.
I'm an idiot. It's only 2 minutes shorter than 4 hours.
Did you have you watched that movie?
I did. I saw it in theaters in a special 80th anniversary special a few years ago. I really enjoyed it. It's not rewatchable for me, but as a story and a
good experience.
As a story from a certain period of time, it was pretty incredible to watch. As a movie made in 1939. What they could do with that then? But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited about it. I'm excited that it's gonna be a tribute to his daughter,
which is fantastic. That's great.
I love that. Yeah,
it was really tragic to really. Even I remember hearing about that back in 2017. It was a tragic story. So,
and it seems like everyone who's a part of the movie itself is excited for this version to come out. They're excited for Zack Snyder to be able to put his vision out there on the screen for all of us. Yeah. He put about $70 million worth of extra. I mean, $70 million. He was given about HBO Max gave him about $70 million worth to work on it, which is a good amount of change to put into something that was also already like 400 million, wasn't it? 300, 200, 280, 300 million.
I think with the reshoots, it got around probably 300 million. I bet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the morale's better. You just tell from sad face Ben Affleck. From the meme back in the day, hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah, so funny. I think he's excited. I think everyone's excited. I'm most excited for the dark side, the character arc of Superman. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about Barry. I just think this is, if you're going to introduce 6 different characters essentially at one time, Marvel had the liberty of doing it over 5 years, I think, prior to the first Avengers. This one, you have 4 hours. So,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, and it's going to be fun. I'm a Marvel. I'm a DC guy at heart. I'm always a Batman guy. Batman's my favorite superhero, and then number 2 is always going to be Spider-Man. But I just love the fact that I think this is going to be another risk-taking movie. From what I've read online of what the original movie was supposed to be, it was like a Reddit post years ago of what Zack Snyder's vision was going to be. That hyped me up, got me excited. So, you know what? I'm very excited. I think this movie is going to be great. I think it's going to blow out all expectations, and I think this is going to be the big game changer for HBO Max, and that's my prediction.
Great. I'm excited for our review of that film, which will be, I'm sure, must-watch entertainment. So that is the Justice League trailer. Kevin, where can they find you online as we wrap up the show?
You can see below right here, other way, here, boop. Yeah, that's my username on Twitter and Instagram, I think. And then you can also find me, of course, at J3JobbersPod on Twitter, on YouTube, where I am the CEO, which we will be returning soon to posting more episodes. I'm excited for that. Max, where can they find you online, my friend?
My Twitter is WalkMax. And just please subscribe, hit this video up with a like, and we'll hopefully be back next week at some point. One night next week, we'll tweet out the link again, and we'll hope to see you again. So as for that, this has been Binge Brothers episode 10, and we hope you have a great rest of your night. Thanks, guys.